I'm Jill Miller and welcome to Comfort Cuisine. Today is going to be a great show. We're going to take a little trip to France. So I've taken you down memory lane, now I'm going to take you to France. Okay, so we're going to do a little faux cassoulet, which is a French casserole, mostly beans. We're going to use some sausage and some wonderful herbs. And then to go with it as a bread component, I'm going to be making Gruyere and herbes de Provence scones. So I'm really excited, they're good. So let's get started. So our ingredients today, we're going to be using, this is our bench flour for when I'm going to knead the scones. We are going to do eggs, 2 eggs, buttermilk, 2 cups of shredded Gruyere, one stick of butter, half cup, 2 teaspoons of herbes de Provence. We're using baking powder and 2 cups of all-purpose flour and a little salt, as usual. A lot of people make their scones, they'll do them in a bowl by hand. We don't need to turn it on until we have ingredients in there. All right, I'll take the paddle off for a minute. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is put 2 cups of flour into the mixer. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of baking powder. Yeah. All right, there. Make sure you level it off. Then to add the flavor, we're going to be using 2 teaspoons of herbes de Provence. This has a lot of things in it: thyme, lavender. It's delicious. It's going to add a lot of spice, a lot of flavor. And actually, this herbes de Provence came from France because my dad went and he brought it back for me. So that was really nice of him. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is cut in some butter. So what I'm going to do is, this is actually extremely cold butter. I had it in the freezer before we started. You always want to use cold butter when you're making a dough. And I'm just going to cut it up into pieces. And then I'm going to put it right into the mixer. You can, if you don't have a mixer, you can always use a pastry cutter, or you can use a fork to cut in butter. Those are acceptable ways of doing it. This is really easy. And we're just going to put it in here and process it until it gets to be a pea size within the dough, and I'll show that to you. One more. And you want it to stay cold. Oh, there's my oven. It's preheated, 450. All right, let me get my paddle back. All right, so what I'm going to do is process this just for a few minutes, and then until it gets the butter and the flour mixed together to like a pea sandy consistency. I'll show it to you. Okay, and now I'm going to stop it just for a minute because I forgot to put in my 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, I'm going to restart it after I've added the salt. We're almost there. Okay, so we've gotten it to like a pea-like consistency. See, the butter is still there, but there's still big chunks. And then I'm going to be adding eggs, and I'm going to be adding buttermilk, so that'll help incorporate it as well. The next thing I want to add is, this is the 2 cups of grated Gruyere cheese. This is just going to make them very yummy. Okay, let's incorporate that just a little bit. Okay. All right, so now next, I'm going to be adding 1 full egg to this 1/2 cup of buttermilk. And then I'm going to be adding just the yolk of this egg. And I'm going to be putting the white in this bowl to use as the wash for the scones before I put them in the oven, the egg wash. So let's see if I can pull this off. All right, one more. Okay. All right, so the yolk going into the buttermilk. Now I'm just going to beat the eggs into the buttermilk. Get them nice and incorporated. Now we're going to turn the mixer back on. Slowly add your egg yolks, your egg yolk, and your buttermilk. have our dough starting to form. So now I'm gonna take it out. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna pull the dough out and we're gonna knead it. And so I just wanna put a little flour down, a little bench flour. Get this bowl out of the way. Okay, and then a little bit for my hands to keep them from sticking to me. Okay, so we get this out. All right, now we just want to pull it together and just knead it just a little bit to make it become one ball. It also helps in make sure the cheese and herbs are throughout the whole, all your scones. You want to have an even distribution of all your ingredients. See, we're starting to stick a little. You should get about 5 or 6 scones out of this. You can roll this out. You can use a scone pan where they're little triangles, or what you can do the way I'm going to do it, which is kind of more rustic, is I'm going to pull my pan over, and it has been greased earlier, and I'm going to divide this dough up into a couple pieces. Let's add a little more over there. You know, just eyeball it evenly, and then you have 6, you have 3. I can count, I really can. And then we have 3 more. And then you can make them into a little ball and just drop them onto your sheet. So once you get them formed and nicely onto your sheet, you don't want to work them too much. So you can do drop scones just like you would do a drop biscuit. Okay, so we'll give them a little press. Now we're going to take our egg white that we used for earlier. We added to this bowl earlier. I'm just going to put it on the top. This will make them nice and golden. Okay, and just for a little bit of a little more savoriness, I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of coarse kosher salt on top. Okay, so these are ready to go in the oven. I might give them a little more space. All right, there you go. Okay, so these are going in a 450 degree oven for 12 to 15 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna let our scones bake in the 450 degree oven for 12 to 15 minutes, if you didn't catch that the first 2 times I said it. And then when we get back from a break, we will start on making our cassoulet. All right, be right back.